So you got, the other municipality signed it, and you're waiting for him to bring it back?
Well, he's working through, my understanding is he's working through the end of this month on that specific project.
There's a deadline for submission to, who was it, to the local government academy for monies, for some, and it was another
DCED, I believe, was some of the funding as well.
DCED. So there was two funding applications that he committed to complete by the end of this month because the deadline was the end of this month. And he was the one championing meeting with those boroughs. So he completed those meetings with the boroughs on April 14th. He gave them 2 weeks to kind of finalize the submissions of that
I see.
grant. And he's
Okay.
going to do that by the end of the month.
All right, that makes sense.
End of the month as in April?
Yeah.
2 days from now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Beachy? No? Okay, President's report, I have one thing I want to bring up. I'm forming a search committee for the identification of the replacement for the borough manager. The folks on that committee is going to be Ms. Post as the vice president, Ms. Amendola as the chair of the admin committee, and myself. Our initial goal will be to draft a job description and qualifications by the next working meeting that we're going to share with council for input and dialogue to see that we're on the same page with what we're looking for in the position. It's a living document, right? Our draft is just what it is. It's a draft. So to get the ball rolling, we're going to do that by the end of before the next meeting. The other thing I wanted to mention is I'm actually meeting with Susan Hockenberry from Local Government Academy on Wednesday to hear some of her feedback about how best to proceed with the search. I know she's Local Government Academy posts jobs on their website. They have facilitated a job search. They may even have, she mentioned to me very briefly on the phone, that they may even have contract services that we might want to entertain with the help of the search. She's going to describe to me what those are at the meeting, and I will report back to council, and we'll discuss whether or not a service like that is valuable to us, and if so, is it something that we would entertain using them for, or possibly even someone else. But just getting the search kicked off in high gear is what the search committee is meant to do over the next 2 weeks, and hopefully have a finalized description soon thereafter. Another point I wanted to make, Ms. Weitzel had asked that the packets get out earlier. I can certainly commit to having the job description out before Wednesday, so you can have plenty of time to look at that.
Just, end of day Wednesday, getting stuff Friday evening.
The minutes seem to be the long pole, frankly. Even after 2 weeks, but then the 1 minutes aren't done, right? So I don't see a huge problem in having that trail behind, perhaps the following meeting. But the other items, I think it's fair to have it out by Wednesday, particularly things that we're going to be discussing. So I'll meet with Ms. Beachy and the secretary, and we'll do our level best to move to that Wednesday commitment. But I certainly pledge to you that I'll have the job description out, because I hope that's going to be a very strong talking point at the next meeting, which we'll do, by the way, in public session, right? It's not an executive session matter when we're talking about what we want in the qualifications for.
Actually, a lot of those items are available by the months before and place on the cubby.
Yeah,
As
so
we get them in.
I think so. Maybe the communication would be even.
Yeah, there's no communication stating that was
Yeah.
the case, so.
Yeah, so I think that's the key, right? We'll get it there as much as we can have there, and if the minutes trail, I don't think we should be worked up too much about that. Again, I also think that we should do, if we keep more short and concise meetings and very productive, the minutes will be easier. The part of the problem is our meetings have gone 2 to 3 hours the last. When you have 2 to 3 hour meetings, it is quite cumbersome to get the minutes done. So we all have a hand in that, I'll say. That's all I have as the president's report. Is there any questions for me on those items? No? All right. Let's go to what's next on the agenda. The business agenda. Very good. There's one item I'm taking off of the business agenda. I'll mention it when we get there. No, we're gonna take off the third motion, this one. But I'll mention it when we get there. So, under administration, I'll entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number 1622, authorizing the Borough of Crafton to enter into an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the Borough of Ingram, authorizing the Borough of Crafton to reimburse the Borough of Ingram a pro rata share of the cost for the 2014 paving of Valley Street at a cost not to exceed $15,000.
So moved. Second.
Wow, that was fun.
Amazing.
Aren't you supposed to do this?
Pick your choice. It was definitely moved to second.
Should we grab that one?
Any discussion on that? We've discussed that motion a couple of times. Any further discussion?
I would just like to reiterate that anytime we can work cooperatively with boroughs that surround us, I think we should do our best to do so.
I agree. Any other discussion? Hearing no discussion. Roll call vote.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
Mr. Phillips,
Yes.
Ms. Post,
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel,
Yes.
Mr. Amendola,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes. Moving on. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Sheila Hrinda to the Crafton Planning Commission for a 4-year term commencing retroactively from April 13th, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on this motion, please?
I read the information, in Covey, but I don't know who this is. I feel like and I feel like I'm saying this and I feel like we've said this quite often. So perhaps what we need to do is look at a protocol. When somebody wants to participate in a level such as the planning commission, should we meet these people? I mean, I don't know everybody in the borough, unfortunately, so I feel uncomfortable approving somebody I've never met.
Did we have any
I
other
second that
applicants?
motion.
Do we have any other applicants? I mean,
Can anybody tell us anything about this person? I mean, I'm sure they're a good person, but does anybody know anything about them? I mean, who,
I just would like to meet.
how did their name get there?
No,
they applied?
Mr. Callen.
They applied, is that a question?
No, they applied by the deadline. I mean, it's on Covey for you to review.
What's on Covey?
Their
Right,
application.
right, and
I mean,
I
I saw it.
right, and I
and
saw
also-
and I read through, but I just feel like I feel uncomfortable because I just don't, some of the people that we put through, like I've met before, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I know that person. Although we don't seem to have a formal way of, meeting with people that apply. I'm just wondering if there should be some method or protocol or some function where we're able to meet the people that are interested, because I would like to be interested in the people that are interested in helping us.
I agree.
So-
So she has a bachelor's degree in accounting, she
Mhm.
runs a supply company, construction, she's a cost accountant, project management.
Right, I mean, she looks very qualified, but I just never.
Oh, yeah, I did read that, yes.
So are we suggesting that we want to add a requirement for them to come to council?
I mean, we're hurting for volunteers as it is. I mean,
Right,
Yeah.
and that's, I'm just saying, I feel uncomfortable, like, so, I appreciate people who wanna come out, but I would also, if I see them, I would like to be like, hey, I'm on your planning commission, you know what I mean?
I was gonna say, quite a while ago, whenever they would have someone for an appointment such as this, they would invite them to the meeting that we did the appointment, and then they had opportunity to see the person, ask them questions if they wanted. Or if the person wanted to introduce themselves and tell you more about themselves.
Was she afforded that opportunity tonight?
Well, can we
That's-
do
that's on
that?
us.
Can
We invite her to come to our
I
discussion
Can we
meeting
make
and
changes to do
do
that?
that motion there? Could we do that? I mean, not that we have anything, we just wanna meet her, I mean, just like to see what she looks like.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but I would point out that the last time this came up, where we had volunteers, and a volunteer for a committee, and we decided not to vote on it, those volunteers took offense to that, because they felt that their offer wasn't genuine or was being questioned. So I'm fine with pushing this off 2 weeks inviting her to come, but I think we all need to be aware that she may not come, right?
Right.
And it's not a
Yeah, it's
requirement.
called work and being busy.
You know, and the mayor just said that he would feel, you know, he wouldn't want to take it quite as far as, you know, forcing them to come, right, as a volunteer. And I agree with him, you know, that's a lot. So, you know, if the extensions, the invitation not being extended is something that council feels that we should extend, and it was our misstep, if you will, not to, then let's emphasize that to her. But I don't want her to think by any means that we're not welcoming her as a volunteer.
Yeah,
to our
I-
planning
She-
meeting.
She looks
Absolutely.
incredibly qualified, I'm not questioning that at all, and I appreciate that level of participant, and I don't know, I'm a people person, I just want to.
Mayor?
Yeah, rather than creating a committee or having them stand before council and say, I'd like to volunteer. I mean, if this lady comes with an application to sit on the planning commission
I mean, it's right here, I'm looking at it.
and presents it to the borough manager and.
It's been presented, Mayor Bloom.
No, I'm just saying, everybody, or people wanting to do a face-to-face.
This came in March 25th.
Okay, all right, here's my point. Tracy wants to do face-to-face. This came in via email, mail, whatever. But if she would come in, the person would come in and say, Jamie, hi, I'm, what's her first name?
Sheila.
Sheila, you know, and then Jamie could say, I met with her, blah, 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 you know, but to meet with 7 council
Right.
members, you know what I mean? Just
I-
kind of
obviously
like
not.
draws it out, and here you go again.
Right,
That they're gonna feel offended by just having this, and they're just volunteering to help.
Well, Manager Callen did speak with her directly about the qualifications, so rather than Jamie, it was Manager Callen. What I was saying was that position, planning commission as well as zoning hearing board, those members have to be sworn in by the mayor. So they should come in anyway to be sworn in when they're appointed. And then we
You have
can-
30 days to get sworn in. Is that not correct?
May I say we also were interviewed by?
We can't take comments at this
Okay,
time.
sorry.
I mean, my perspective is we are hurting for volunteers, we're hurting for expertise, and someone puts a good faith effort through, you know, back in March, why don't we
So this is what I would
show
say.
apprehensive?
I understand the desire to meet the person face to face. Let's say, you know, these applications are gonna come in, these
Right.
vacancies are gonna exist now moving forward. We'll ask, you know, interim manager Beachy to invite the person to the swearing in, or not the swearing in, to the voting meeting, right? Where they're likely to be voted in or not voted in, right? And invite them to come. But I don't wanna slow this one down, and I certainly don't wanna offend the woman. So, unless anyone feels strongly about this, right, I would say let's put this to a vote and decide tonight on whether or not we think this person should be a member of the planning commission, but moving forward, we'll make sure that the manager invites them to the meeting.
absolutely, and to clarify, I just wanted this to be the opportunity, because we keep coming across people that want to serve on these positions, and we're only seeing papers, so I just wanted to,
Because we're not trusting
Put a face to the
the manager to vet them.
well,
Yeah, well, whatever, I mean, we should see the people, we should know who we're voting for.
And if they wanna come, they can do that, you know, moving forward.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, I do too. Number one, what if we have multiple applicants for one position? Do you invite them both and pick one while they're both here? Awkward. Or do you invite that one person here who applied, per se, and you don't vote them in and they're here, and that's also would leave an awkward.
It's poor form.
Well, I think we'd listen to your recommendation,
Sure.
but
I-
you should probably meet with them.
Oh, no, I definitely agree with that, but in context of coming here, and let's just say that we, you know, did not decide that we were going, the council decided they were not going to select that person. So,
Well, there's a potential for awkwardness if we not vote them in, but it's an invitation, they don't have to come,
understood?
right? So,
Right.
Just,
let's invite them, and if they don't wanna come, they don't wanna come. And, what I would put to council is let's not let that color our decision as to whether or not they're a qualified applicant, because clearly it seems this woman is qualified.
oh, absolutely. What I'm saying is, like, I would like to be recognized, be like, hey, thank you for, you know, for helping and working in the community. Was merely my point.
Yeah, I agree. So going forward, we're gonna vote on this,
Yeah,
and then we're gonna go forward and
We'll
work it a
invite
little
them.
differently.
Yeah.
we'll invite
Okay,
them
I think that's a good
to
idea.
come if they like.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Tracy.
Roll call vote.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Post.
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel.
Yes.
Mr. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes. The next motion is the one we're going to table until, not table, but we'll discuss that one and make that motion in another meeting. We're not prepared to pass or adopt a code of ethics at this time. Public safety. I'll entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 2014-06, approving and sanctioning the creation of the Shar West No. 1 Emergency Services Task Force Steering Committee and the participation and representation by Crafton Borough elected officials, Crafton Volunteer Fire Department, and citizen at large.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Can the public be made aware of the details of this, what exactly this means?
Mayor, can you speak to that, or?
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
The fire chief was here the last discussion meeting we had and answered any questions that council had. Do you have some questions? I could
No,
ask
I'm
him
saying
and
for the
get back
benefit
to
of the
you.
public.
Yeah, he explained when he was here what the setup for the committee was, that the recommendation from the state, now you go into a steering committee as to who will participate in the joints or the consolidation, and that the committee will work towards that end. And he explained that this could take upwards of 3 years to actually.
And there's no money involved
And there's-
right now.
So it's just a study that actually started 2 years ago and has moved on. And the recommendations went to the state come back with their final recommendations for how to proceed for this umbrella coverage, which would come in the future.
And he's gonna report back to us periodically on the progress of that steering committee.
And that's an elected official appointment.
Do we have to name the elected official tonight? Not tonight, but we'll need one. Okay.
Yes, citizens at large also.
Yeah, I don't think we're prepared to vote on this tonight.
Well, the resolution be in place before you can go further on it, so this you can do.
This is a resolution to just form the committee.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you're gonna put names forward, we're.
No, I think,
All right.
I'm not gonna put, I don't wanna put names to it, when we can,
That's an appointment by you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of talk about names being thrown out, so.
no names yet, just
Just
the,
volunteer.
just the resolution for the committee. The task, I shouldn't say committee, this is the task force, the steering committee, sure. Roll call vote.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Post.
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel.
Yes.
Mr. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes. Motion passes. All right, the next motion is an ordinance. I'll entertain a motion to advertise ordinance number 1623, amending the Vehicle and Traffic Ordinance, section 214-40, to include a special purpose parking and/or standing zone at 33 Alice Street to accommodate the loading and unloading of persons during the days and hours posted for adoption at the regular meeting of Borough Council on May 19th, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Mr. O'Brien, is there any more information available to this?
No.
No? Any other discussion?
I actually do. We, council adopted the fee for installing handicap sign and painting handicap curb and the designation for handicap parking, and it's a $100 fee. And I'm wondering if we're going to be implementing this situation, that should also look to doing that as well.
I did discuss that with him and they are prepared to pay for it.
Just item for consideration. Obviously, it costs us time and equipment, and things to these installations in, so.
And this is just to advertise, so it would be voted on at the May 19th meeting.
Should we look up a price list for them so they know what the cost is gonna be?
Set by resolution already, $100 per sign.
Has our solicitor seen this ordinance?
I don't know if Mr. Daly has taken a look at it. I have not.
It was provided at the last meeting and now again, just to advertise it, it's not the actual ordinance.
So once the ordinance is prepared, I'll have Mr. Daly in my
Actually,
office
it is
take a look at it.
Let's make
I know,
sure.
yeah, it's prepared, I was asking, had the solicitor read it? It's very convoluted in my opinion.
This is the existing ordinance as it appears in our ordinance book, the only thing that was added was B. And that was to allow for vehicle stopping, standing, or parking for the purpose of loading or unloading persons or properties, which is that's what they desire to have there for the drop-off prisoners. And B was added, and Mr. Daly did have this.
Well, I know we didn't get it as part of this package because all I got today was the business agenda. I know at the last meeting that I was at, there was some talk that this is dealing with the church, where they wanted to have on Sundays only.
It was provided at the last meeting as a discussion item.
The draft ordinance was?
Yes.
Okay. If anyone wants me to look at it in my office, we'll be glad to. Just let me know.
All right, we'll make sure it gets forwarded.
You want me to look at it?
It was sent to your office today.
No.
This whole packet was.
No, apparently it wasn't.
It was not.
You were in the time.
Was not. But that's not a big deal. If you want me to review the ordinance.
Well, let's see if we're gonna actually even advertise for it.
Sure.
If we're not gonna advertise for it, there's nothing to look at. So let's vote on whether or not we're gonna actually advertise for this.
Mr. Phillips,
Yes.
Ms. Post,
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel,
No,
Mr. Amendola,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
and Mr. Hayes.
No. 4-2, right?
Yes.
Passes. Okay, so, yes, we'll make sure that it's emailed to you, whether it was or wasn't, is immaterial, and we'll ask you to look at it.
Sure. Be glad.
It's pretty short. Okay, where were we? Public Works. I'll entertain a motion to concur with SHACOG's recommendation to award the multi-municipal sanitary sewer lining project Year 8 to Lane Inliner LLC for the estimated amount of $182,190.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion on this? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Post,
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel,
yes,
Mr. Amendola,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
Mr. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on in Public Works, I'll entertain a motion to concur with SHACOG's recommendation to award the multi-municipal sanitary sewer O&M point repair contract Year 3 to State Pipe Services Incorporated for the estimated amount of $108,820. Excuse me.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote.
Ms. Post,
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel,
yes,
Mr. Amendola,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
Mr. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion to award the 2014 Clearview Avenue Road Reconstruction Project Phase 3 to A. Moranti Contracting Incorporated in the amount of $271,406.74, representing $273,536.74 base bid and a deduct of $2,130 for alternate bid number 1.
so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this?
For the public, can we clarify what bid number 1 is?
Sure. Engineer?
Yeah, alternate bid number one, that's taking on the trees, correct?
No, alternate bid number one is to,
On the left side, it's a project.
alternate bid number one is to have an 18-foot wide road instead of a 19-foot wide road. So we would narrow the road by 1 foot, keeping the 4 trees that are there and keeping the road as two-way. Alternate bid number two was to make the road a one-way, 12-foot wide road with the rain garden saving the trees. And the original bid was for the 19-foot wide road as was done in phase 1 and 2. So we're gonna be just pulling the road in 1 foot, saving the trees, and doing some other alterations to phase 3.
And the amount, right, can you speak to the amount a little bit? I think what we had said was we originally thought that this project was gonna be somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000. The low bid came in at $271. We're saving money by not bringing down the trees, but we're not saving as much because the low bid was a bit higher than what we had projected, right?
Yeah, and this was from 2012, when we initially did the estimating for all 5 phases. We had came up with $250,000 2 years ago. So, you know, inflation and some of the changes in construction. And also, one of the things that we are getting back though to mention is for the grant, the borough will be getting back $69,500 as part of the Growing Greener grant. So it's gonna cost the borough $201,406.
Okay. Can you state your name so we can have it for the records?
Alberto Harkeen, Gateway Engineers. The last name is spelled Jarquin.
Thank you. Any other discussion on that item? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Mr. Yontel?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes. I'll entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 2014-07, authorizing the Borough of Crafton to enter into an agility agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for a 5-year term and a 3-year renewal option.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Yontel?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Post?
Yes.
Ms. Whitesell?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes. Still with Public Works, I'll entertain a motion to approve the work authorization for Gateway Engineers to provide contract specifications and bidding, inspection and construction administration services for the 2014 Storm Inlet Replacement Project for a fee not to exceed $12,000.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote.
Mr. Yontel?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Post?
Yes.
Ms. Whitesell?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes. Entertain a motion to approve the renewal of the NPDES permit with the DEP for a period of 5 years for the Clearview/Harris and Willard Avenue projects, all phases.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
Can you just clarify what the NPDES stands for?
Yeah, go ahead. It's National Pollutant Discharge Elimination. Go ahead, you can explain.
Yeah, it's associated with construction activities and stormwater discharge construction activities. Making sure you have ENS controls, proper BMPs, making sure your site's kept clean, kept tight, not letting sediment run off into the streams, drainage systems, inlets, all that.
Okay. Yeah, I asked for clarification because we have residents from the street in the audience.
Any other discussion on that item? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote.
Mr. Yontel?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Post?
Yes.
Ms. Whitesell?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes. Motion carries. I'll entertain, now we're into Parks and Recreation. I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2014 summer employment hiring list dated April 28, 2014 as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll ask one question. Ms. Beachy, were you satisfied with the hiring list?
Yes.
Number of folks as well as the quality of folks?
Yes.
Any other discussion?
I hate to mention this, but I have to, this one, coaches is left empty. Were there names that were added or we're adding later, or what is happening there?
Well, it was not submitted to council in time, so I was not sure I could add those names.
Okay.
First one, coaches.
Okay.
They can be on the next work session.
Yeah,